What's up, everybody? Welcome on into the Warchant Report, powered by Cummins Lifestyle, all one word. Give them a follow on Instagram. Check out all the awesome things they're doing with their own in line of products, portable generators, portable power stations, generators for your RV. Or you know what? Just come on out and see it for yourself in the flesh for football tailgate before the Notre Dame game. That's November 9th, 1 to 6 o'clock, morning, noon, and night. It's going down over at the Belmont Beverage Lot. That's 1621 South Bend Avenue. Get it? It's Bend Avenue, but it's South Bend Avenue. They're clever up there. Look for that Cummins Class C RV. I'd say you could hear it from a mile away, guys, but these things run quietly. Full tailgate experience. It'll be catered with foods and drink. I don't know if it's going to have the alcoholic variety, but it'll be Nole friendly, 1 to 6 o'clock. Irish O'Fell and myself should be making an appearance at some point. Making an appearance on your monitors right now, Corey Clark, lead writer, senior writer for Warchant.com, director of original content, executive producer of The Jeff Cameron Show, Tom Lang. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. Hit the thumbs up. We would appreciate that. Subscribe to Warchant.com for only $1 for 2 months using the promo code FSU1. And get ready for North Carolina coming to town to take on Florida State. Pre-game show with Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang, 9 a.m. These boys getting up early, counter-programming to the nonsense that's ESPN College Game Day. And then hang out with them over at Hotel Indigo. Maybe Ira will be there. Maybe Corey will be there. Maybe I'll be there. 1 to 3 o'clock, live meet and greet over at Hotel Indigo as you make your way into Doak Campbell Stadium for what we hope is the second dub of the season. I keep my fingers crossed on that one. Corey, I'm going to start with you. I had a weird thought at practice on Wednesday. I'm bringing it to the show. So as you do so well all the time on Wake Up Warchant, humor me, please. There used to be that great archway that you'd walk under to go to the practice fields of Florida State, and it said, you either get better or you get worse. You never stay the same. Looking at North Carolina, their quarterback, their offense has gotten a little bit better the last few weeks. Makes it a little bit nervy for me. Is Florida State getting any better? You can't stay the same. So have they been getting any better or are they getting any worse over these last 4 games in this losing streak?
I mean, the running game has looked better the last 2 weeks. Is that something? I don't know. It's not looked great, but it's not looked like the worst one in the country, which is what it was before the last 2 weeks. Now it's up to 128 in the country. So let's go. This is a rapid ascent we're talking about. I do think the defense has played, better than maybe it had in certain spots this year, but it's still, they don't get off the field and they don't create turnovers. So I don't know that I don't know how you could watch this team and say they're getting better. They don't. Maybe this will be the different Saturday. They don't get blown out. They don't get embarrassed on the field. They get embarrassed with what their record is, but they're not just getting blown off the field in these games. So I guess that's commendable. But no, I haven't. The offense is still a train wreck. The defense still can't create turnovers. So there's nothing great about it. Obviously there's nothing great about it. There's nothing that you say, oh yeah, that's an area where it's improved drastically. In my opinion, the whole season.
Tom, same question. Is this team getting any better? Is it getting any worse? Does that say anything about, the foundation of this program or portends anything in the future in your mind?
Well, it's unstable. I think that's fair to say because you could point to long-term, some of the guys are getting better. Some of the younger players that Florida State is giving experience will make them sharper tools for future seasons. And hopefully at Florida State, that's maybe one area specifically. If you want to look to a position group that might've gotten a little bit better, I feel like the linebacker play has been improved of late. Like Omar Graham is somebody where you look at week to week for the entirety of his career and you're wondering, when's it going to happen for this kid? And in the last 2 games he's played, he's been better. Juice Cryer, I think, obviously has been a solid player for Florida State. Edwin Joseph is somebody you look to in the future. You say, well, he gets downhill, he makes plays, he can get better and give him more reps. So in one facet, you could say Florida State, it might be improving for the long term with some of the younger players. Where they're getting worse, though, is situational. A lot of penalties that are pre-snap and just, solely on coaching and preparation, like 12 men on the field. How many offsides were they called for on the road at Duke? And, John Papuchis can argue about that. But, when your hand is over the ball, that's something that you don't have to do that 4 times if the official is going to call it on a given night. So there are certain areas from an organizational standpoint, situational standpoint, where you say they're getting worse. They're getting more dilapidated. But then the more they roll out the young players, at least for me, speaking for me, the closer I watch these situations. It's just as far as a message for the program, you've won 1 out of 8 games. It's got to get better, and maybe the youth is the method to get there. Maybe it all starts on Saturday against North Carolina.
Corey, you hinted at in your answer earlier. Don't know if that's just you being great at teeing me up on some segues or just great minds maybe thinking alike here. But this game, 3:30 against North Carolina, it's going to be on ACC Network. You had a Friday night game, nationally televised, all eyes maybe on you to a certain degree playing Duke. You had Miami last week. Is this the kind of sleepy game to where maybe it could possibly get away from Florida State finally? Like, can they find juice in this game? Will that say anything about the health of these players that they're going to be relied on next year and the program moving forward if they can have the energy and pull something out on Saturday against North Carolina?
Look, look, if they turn it over 3 or 4 times in the first half or really for the whole game, then yeah, it can get away from them. I would be surprised if that happens. Just like I'd be surprised if they win because they don't win. They're pretty consistent. They lose ugly football games, and they're in the games in the second half in every one. Most of the times they're in the games in the fourth quarter, at least within a score or two, and they just don't have the weaponry to do anything about it offensively to get back in the games. This might be a little different because, they played some good teams, man, and they played teams that know how to win. They don't. So, North Carolina has proven they're not great by any stretch. Now they're better than Florida State or they've had a better year. I mean, the record is the record, but I don't think they shouldn't be overwhelmed by the talent coming in. What do they wear? Sky blue? Is that North Carolina's colors, right?
Carolina blue.
Carolina blue. I apologize to our loyal Tar Heel watchers. They're not going to be blown away by the talent on that field, and that is their third-string quarterback, who has not been great. I mean, this should absolutely be a game. I would be very surprised. I don't think the atmosphere matters with this team. They're just not very good. You could play on a Saturday night at prime time. You could play Tuesday afternoon. It's going to be about the same product.
Gotcha. Tom, buy-in, effort, these are things that people are talking about. I'm not watching a lot of these games close enough to criticize guys for loafing. So many people are saying it, though, so I'm going to trust these people because I believe their opinions. But like buy-in, effort, those sort of things, will that be on display? Are those the things that you'll be watching for when Florida State takes on a 4-4 Carolina team at 3:30 in Doak?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be the substitution patterns for some of the veterans that I think personally are having a good jog out there sometimes. Like, for example, I know, Corey, you pointed this out on the wrap immediately after the game. I did too on the postgame show. Watching Earl Little play safety this past Saturday against Miami looked a little bit different than maybe some of the other guys that are in that rotation. You saw a guy who got downhill and wanted to play with fire and with spirit. When Sione Lolo-Hay is out there on the field at defensive end, I noticed 13 a hell of a lot more than I noticed maybe some of the other guys that are in that rotation. So, like, Aslan, I don't think this team as a group of 11 on either side of the ball has mailed it in for long stretches of this 1-7 start. There might be some lax moments, but I don't think that they just don't show up and they're not invested. This is a different kind of test because you did just lose to your rival. It is a sleepy 3:30 kick, if there is such a thing, against North Carolina. There's not going to be juice in the stands. I don't even know how many cars are going to be in the IM fields. Hoping there's a lot, but I'm not expecting to see that on Saturday from Indigo. So this is a bit of a different test. This is where youth and hunger to play, guys like Little and guys like Lolo-Hay, some of the younger receivers, some of the younger tight ends, this is where that opportunity presents itself, and it shouldn't matter who the opponent is. So hopefully that's what you see on Saturday. But if there are moments where you're wondering if a guy is given all his fifth gear, 100% effort, let's see what the substitution patterns are like and if the coaches match that in terms of getting guys off the field and substituting other players on.
To that point, Tom, what I thought stood out about Earl Little is that he stood out. Like that was so uncommon for this team this year. I don't know if Earl Little's a good safety. I mean, he barely cracked the lineup in game 8 of a 1-7 football team. So I don't know if he's any good. I know he played hard that game, and it was noticeable. That is not a great thing. When there's one guy flying all over the field that you're like, wow, who's that? Where did that come from? And it's like, man, that should be every game with everybody. And they don't play with the physicality on that side of the ball where they push people back and they look to, I don't want to say injure people. They look to hit people with ferocity. They do a lot of let's just get them on the ground. Earl Little was like, I want to get called for targeting. I want to go to review. Every time I hit someone, I want them to go to review. And it's great, but it's just so noticeable because it's been so rare with that side of the ball.
Carolina coming to the contest 4-4. Off of a bye, they had probably their best performance of the season, taking out Virginia. But this is a team that allowed 70 to James Madison, had some really terrible game management in losing to Georgia Tech at the last minute. And as Corey said, they're down to the third quarterback. So we're going to try to tell you there's a chance. We'll dive into that further after this, right here on the Warchant Report, powered by Cummins. Your favorite football team doesn't stop pushing its limits on the climb to the top, and neither does a global power technology leader like Cummins. Cummins has released its new QG4000i generator and is taking it across the country to show America that whether it's turbo diesel engines or taking it easy in your RV, life is a little bit better with a touch of the Cummins lifestyle. The Own and Unplugged tour is crisscrossing the country, including a stop in South Bend, Indiana, home of Notre Dame, when the Fighting Irish host Florida State on November 9th. FSU will play like a champion. You come by and tailgate like one. Follow Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram for updates, and don't forget to get involved every week in generating discussion on Wake Up Warchant for your opportunity to win free Cummins swag and a chance at a portable generator or power station. Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. Give it a follow. Warchant Report, powered by Cummins. Welcome back on in. Go follow Cummins Lifestyle. All one word on Instagram. That's all we're asking for you. You got to spend a single dime. Shoot. They want you to come hang out. They're going to feed you and give you some beverages. That's going down before the Notre Dame game, 1 to 6 o'clock, November 9th, over at the Belmont Beverage Lot. You see it on your screen there. Look for the awesome RV and all the great tailgating that'll be going on. Enjoy it. We'll be there, myself and Irish O'Fell, making a little bit of a cameo appearance. So put that on the social calendar. Also on your social calendar, put down that you will be at the Corner Pocket on Friday from 5 to 6 o'clock to hang out with Corey Clark and Jeff Cameron. Happy hour meet and greet over at the CP. And then on game day, 9 a.m., pregame show, Jeff Cameron, Tom Lang, getting ready for North Carolina, Florida State. And then a postgame show, 10 to 15 minutes afterwards, Jeff Cameron tagging in for Gene Williams. So it's going to be Jeff and Tom celebrating a big dub, hopefully, or lamenting another loss. And between that, don't forget Hotel Indigo, another live meet and greet, game day, 1 to 3 o'clock. It's going to be on your way to the stadium, everybody. Come say hi to Jeff and Tom as they meet and greet you with nice handshakes, things of that nature. All right, Matt LaSerre usually catches up with somebody on the beat, guys, but the North Carolina beat was not very cooperative. We want to come on and talk about their football team. So Matt put together a little synopsis, if you will, a prospectus of what to expect when Florida State takes on North Carolina.
All right, everyone, back again for North Carolina week. We are just going to do a quick rundown of this North Carolina team and what to watch. First off, you have to start with Mack Brown, right, head coach of North Carolina, a Florida State alum, actually, who played running back at Florida State in the early 1970s. He has never beat Florida State. He's 0-11. So you can look at it as another chance for Noles to make history in this season, where they lost to Duke for the first time in program history after going 22-0, because Mack Brown is 0-11 against the Seminoles. Then the quarterback situation for North Carolina has been a little bit strange this season. They got Max Johnson out of the transfer portal from Texas A&M. Max Johnson, Florida State legacy. His dad is Brad Johnson, who won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He got hurt with leg injury in the first game against Minnesota. They then turned to Connor Harrell. Connor Harrell then got benched for Jacoby Criswell, who transferred from Arkansas but originally was at North Carolina. Kind of transferred back this year from Arkansas, probably really not expecting to play, right? Originally third-string quarterback, and now he's done pretty well for the Tar Heels the past few weeks. Overall stats, 124 for 217 with 3 interceptions, 1,660 yards and 10 touchdowns. Overall, he has a strong arm. He's able to extend plays. He can be calm under pressure, fairly accurate. He's been a really good quarterback for them since they put him in. But what you do have to worry about is Amarian Hampton, the running back of North Carolina, who is 4th in the country in yards. Already has hit over 1,000 this year. First team All-ACC last year, known as one of the better, if not the best running back in the ACC currently. That is the one you got to watch. Hampton has got to be the one to watch. If you can control Criswell just like you controlled Cam Ward, well, now the running defense needs to step up and do better. And learn from last week's mistakes so you can stop Hampton, who has been, again, one of the best running backs in the ACC. Part of that is because of how big this offensive line is up front. Randy Clemens, the old offensive line coach at FSU before Atkins, is the offensive line coach at North Carolina now. The one thing to note with them is they do have only 2 upperclassmen on the line. You go into the defense. A lot of people say this defense isn't great. They did give up 70 points to James Madison. They're 88th in total defense, 8 spots below Florida State at 80. If you look at the individual stats, it's not that bad. They do like to blitz. They're 12th in the country in sacks with 25. That is led by defensive lineman Javari Ritzy, who has 6. Now, he also has a pick 6, so this kid has been really good all year. Kamarian Rucker, the defensive end, has also been really good. He was second team All-ACC last season. He has 4 sacks on the year. The linebackers also kind of stood out to me when looking at the stats. Power Eccles was third team All-ACC last season, but he hasn't really lit up the stat sheet. The guy who has lit up the stat sheet at linebackers is Amari Campbell, a sophomore. He has 7 tackles for loss this season. And then you have Antavius Lane, who has been that leader of the secondary for the Tar Heels. He's 54 tackles. From talking to some of the beat writers over at North Carolina, they call him a tackling machine. 4.5 tackles for loss, two pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and a sack. That has been your leader of the secondary. And that is the main rundown on this North Carolina team. Fairly even matchup for Florida State here. It'll be an interesting close game. That 2.5 point, 3.5 point spread is probably pretty accurate. I think this could be one of their better defense performances of the year for North Carolina, especially considering they only gave up 14 to Virginia last week, and with how bad this offense is for Florida State, they could be seeing another low number.
Matt LaSerre covers recruiting, covers the team on a day-to-day basis. Matt, Swiss Army knife, utility knife. All right, then, we'll start off with you, Tom. Looking at these things and the matchups, North Carolina's offense, obviously third-string quarterback, but maybe hitting their stride coming off that win against Virginia. How do they match up against Florida State's defense? Is there a key matchup on that side that you're keeping your eye on when Florida State squares off against Carolina?
Yeah, it starts with the running back, Amarian Hampton. This is a player who's going to be a truth serum player. To the question you asked, Aslan, in the first segment about relative investment, buy-in, efforts, running around with your hair on fire if you have a chance to play, with the garnet and the gold. Amarian Hampton is going to be a guy that's going to dictate. He's going to show you as a truth serum whether or not Florida State is living up to that billing, if they care to be there, because he's a guy who is a bit more of a bowling ball style. He's over 1,000 yards already this season. 181 carries for 1,000 yards. He's got decent hands. He doesn't give up on plays. And North Carolina's offensive line, specifically in watching the Virginia game where they did get things rolling, looked like the right side of that offensive line is where they like to go when in doubt. So that's the place that I'm looking for, a specific matchup. But then Hampton is the guy as well. Criswell, the quarterback, he can run. He doesn't like to run a ton, but he is capable of doing so if the opportunity presents itself. And then they've got physical receivers that aren't necessarily burners. I know J.J. Jones went over 100 yards last week, but again, he's more of a jump ball physical type guy. So you're thinking about physical receivers, a physical running back, and this is a group that's hungry enough that if you don't want it, they'll take it. They're going to tell the story when they're on offense about whether Florida State is still invested on defense. And I do want to say that the front, especially the interior of the defensive line, has consistently been there, I think, all season long. Darrell Jackson has only gotten better in recent weeks. Joshua Farmer's been an impact player. So Florida State will need that again against a group that I think won't be too proud to just keep on running the ball with Hampton.
How about this Florida State offense, Corey? They're hanging out. They give us what they give us, right? They average 14 whatever points per game, and they seemingly find the end zone about 2 times per game. Will that change? What are you looking to when it comes to Florida State lining up against North Carolina that might be advantageous for the home standing Noles?
Oh, nothing. Again, they're the worst offense in the country. There's nothing advantageous about it. North Carolina doesn't have a good defense, although I think they're coming off their best game, holding to Virginia to 13 points and winning that game in a rout, which was that was one of the more unexpected scores of the entire ACC season. Not that North Carolina won, but winning like that was just bizarre and seemed to come out of nowhere. So hopefully they're flying a little too high, a little too close to the sun, and then they get brought back to reality on Saturday. But look, I think when it comes to this game, I know this is a weird thing to say with what we do. This season's over. I would be cool if they won. I don't care.
mute him if this mute you.
I don't care if they win or lose. I because this season's already lost. It'd be nice if they won just to feel good, I guess, for a few hours on a Saturday night. But both quarterbacks need to play, and I want to see some significant steps. I liked some of what I saw from Luke. I thought he did handle the rush a little better against Miami than he did against Duke. I thought he seemed a little overwhelmed in that game just with the rush and real pressure. I'd like to see him be a little more comfortable in the pocket. I just want to see those steps. I know he can throw the ball, and we all saw that he can run. I want to see the comfortability and maybe more poise that looks like a quarterback, and I saw some significant improvement there in strides. Brock, I want to see better accuracy. I assume they'll both will play. I hope they both play. But if Brock gets the majority of the reps, just got to be more accurate with the football. You know, they're even on his touchdown drive there at the end of that game, too many balls just thrown at the feet. You know, those are non-competitive passes. If you want to be a quarterback at a school like Florida State, you can't just throw non-competitive passes like that, and you can't turn the ball over like you did against Duke. So I think, for me personally, he's had 2 bad games in a row. He gets a chance here to maybe right that. And they got 4 games left, both of them, to stake their claim. And legitimately, what else would any of us care about? Like, yes, it would be nice to see Elijah Moore and LaWayne McCoy make some plays. I'm a big fan of B.J. Gibson. I want to see the freshman receivers on the field, and you know what you got with these 2 freshmen tight end. You got a nice core of freshman skill players, in my opinion. But I just, more than anything, I want to see the quarterbacks show significant improvement.
Tom, looks like you had something on the mind you wanted to share with the class.
Yeah, well, it looked like North Carolina against Virginia found something with the blitz, just bringing a lot of pressures because, you know, again, they're not very successful as a defense all season long. So they're just, all right, let's see if this sticks. And Calandria had no idea what to do with it for Virginia. He was routinely overwhelmed. And then they came up short in situations. They had a high snap on the 1-yard line in the red zone. Like these are how these things added up, and the game got away from Virginia.
Luckily, Florida State doesn't have to worry about high snaps.
Never.
Right. Yeah.
You know, not high snaps, not low snaps, not dribblers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be like, Patrick Waugh back there at times if you're the quarterback. So be ready to run for your life and then also not know where the ball is going. But this is an opportunity for those quarterbacks to perform against pressure because my guess is North Carolina's like, hey, that worked. Well, it's better than giving up 70. Let's see if this keeps working. But the other part would be that North Carolina, I know this is the broken record thing. It's frustrating. They'll give up the run now. If Florida State is actually improving on the ground and they want to stick to it instead of giving their running backs 11 combined carries like they did against Miami, you got a chance there too.
Wouldn't it be nice too, both of y'all really, like you get a guy in space, whether it's Toa Feely, LaWayne McCoy, Elijah Moore, I don't care, Hakeem. It'd be nice to see somebody make a guy miss at the second level and turn a 9-yard gain or a 12-yard gain into a 50-yard gain. It would be nice to start seeing some of that. Catch the ball first, granted, obviously. But after that, show anything special. I know a lot of these guys are young. Show us something to build on. Show us something you can build on. Like I thought Landon in was it the Duke game or the Clemson game? I think it was the Clemson game. He had some really nice plays where I thought he made some guys miss or broke some tackles. I want to see some of that from the younger guys too. Some just a dose, just a dash of special.
The people at home want to see predictions. We shall acquiesce. We shall oblige. Right after this, game predictions from the staff and this panel right here. Next on the Warchant Report, powered by Cummins. Your favorite football team doesn't stop pushing its limits on the climb to the top, and neither does a global power technology leader like Cummins. Cummins has released its new QG4000i generator and is taking it across the country to show America that whether it's turbo diesel engines or taking it easy in your RV, life is a little bit better with a touch of the Cummins lifestyle. The Own and Unplugged tour is crisscrossing the country, including a stop in South Bend, Indiana, home of Notre Dame, when the Fighting Irish host Florida State on November 9th. FSU will play like a champion. You come by and tailgate like one. Follow Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram for updates, and don't forget to get involved every week in generating discussion on Wake Up Warchant for your opportunity to win free Cummins swag and a chance at a portable generator or power station. Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. Give it a follow. Warchant Report, powered by Cummins. Welcome back, everybody. Cummins Lifestyle. Give it a follow on Instagram. Get a sneak peek at what you want to ask your significant other for Christmas. Portable generator, portable power station. Maybe get a new generator for the RV. Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. One word. Give it a follow. And come check out the tailgate before the Notre Dame game. Again, the Belmont Beverage Lot, 1621 South Bend Avenue in South Bend, Indiana. 1 to 6 o'clock, November 9th. Again, right before the Notre Dame game. Full tailgate experience, catered food and drinks. Come hang out. Pre-game show, 9 a.m. Is that going to be live, Tom Lane? Are you guys live at 9 a.m.?
We are live at 9 a.m. Everybody wake up, get your eggs, get whatever you need, maybe some coffee, a Bloody Mary. It's going to be a long day, but the show will be just an hour. 9 a.m. though. Yes, live.
Wild man. Live meet and greet 1 to 3 o'clock over at Hotel Indigo, but come hang out at Corner Pocket on Friday night, 5 p.m. with Corey and Jeff. Tom will be there too, probably. So
it is crazy all the things you have to promo till we get to actually talk about the game. And that's a great thing. That's a great sign that we got.
You want to talk about
register
sausage at all?
I was going to say we got so much going on at warchant.com that I mean, holy cow, we got some stuff to promo and advertise.
And then post-game show going to be required viewing because it's going to be Jeff and Tom on the post-game show. Not that Gene and Tom don't bring the heat, but maybe get some brown water and Jeff all day long and see what he's got to say afterwards, Tom.
That might not be a great combo.
Yeah, Jeff and callers, like it's 2006 again. Here we go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Awesome. All righty then. So 3:30 Florida State taking on North Carolina. Will be on ACC Network. So get your bunny ears on the TV pointing the right direction for that. All right, we've talked about the matchups and the sort of momentum, lack of momentum on one side of the football and one team, but let's get down to brass tacks. Let's start making some predictions.
When I sat down in this chair to make this prediction, I was going to pick North Carolina to win this game. But then I sat here for a second and I thought to myself, you know what? Mac Brown is still coaching North Carolina. He's still not going to beat Florida State. So I like the Noles to win this game. They're going to break 20 points and beat North Carolina. I'm going to say Florida State 24, North Carolina 20. The Noles double their win total on the season and improve to 2-7.
Score prediction time. So I'll just do this. It's just not going to be very insightful. But, the outcomes have kind of been what they've been. So far, North Carolina this year has scored 38, 45, 50, 20, 24, 34, and 41. We'd kill for really kind of any one of those numbers at some point on offense. I have North Carolina coming into town and beating Florida State 27-24. And really hope I'm wrong. I don't know how many more times I can say that.
I think it's going to be another close, low-scoring game for Florida State. This is probably the best chance they've had to win in a while. Well, they should have won the Duke game, but truly going into it where you have a very good chance to win, this is probably the best you have left outside Charleston Southern. I think it'll be a close, low-scoring game, like I said. Florida State, the offense unless the offense clicks, they're going to keep being low-scoring all year. North Carolina's coming off their best game of the year so far against Virginia, where they won 41-14. Again, by far was the best they played. They're coming in this a little hot. If Florida State can't stop Hampton, it's going to be a long day for them at the office, and I don't think they will be able to. I'm going 24-14 North Carolina.
All right, here we are. I think people want some good news to come out of us. I think two of the three guys on the screen right here are usually pretty positive. You can figure out which ones are which. Again, Florida State taking on North Carolina, 3:30 Saturday, Doak Campbell Stadium, ACC Network. Last time I saw it, someone correct me. What, North Carolina's favored by 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Sound about right?
Yeah, 2.5, 3, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
All right. You don't have to worry about the spread. We want a prediction. We want a score prediction out of you, Tom Lane, Director of Original Content, Executive Producer of the Jeff Cameron Show. Tom, walk us through how Saturday's going to shake out for the Noles.
Well, Florida State's going to break the 20-point barrier, first of all. Oh,
let's go.
There you go. I've got a hard time picking him to win because, we've had 8 tries and one time. It's like me and 5-foot putts. 1 out of 8. 1 out of 8 go in. It's 1-8 for Florida State. But the offense gives you a couple of moments that we can at least talk about on post-game shows, on Wake Up Warchant, on the Wrap, all of the things that we do in promo to ad nauseum. 27-21 is your final. Oh, no. Did I do it?
That was exactly my score. That's crazy. Anyway, sorry, Aslan. Is it my turn now?
You want to paint a different picture of the 27-21?
No, yeah, but no, I think that let me change my score. I see Florida State winning this game 50-6. Tom, I'm just going in a completely different direction. Yeah. Croman Hawk looks incredible. Brock Glenn makes some great plays. LaWayne McCoy has 200 yards receiving. Graham has a pick 6. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. No, my legitimate score was going to be 27-21 North Carolina. I do think the offense will look probably as good as it has all season. You hope anyway. Not that that's saying a whole lot. Maybe not only does it break the 20-point barrier, Tom, maybe it breaks the 300-yard barrier, which it has not done this season. It has not done since the North Alabama game.
Are you
from
serious?
last season. Yeah, it does not. But this offense does not go over 300 yards. So maybe that happens, and we see a little bit of history. But yes, I think North Carolina will have the ball long enough to win the game because your defense can't get off the field. And maybe they give you one final chance at it. Down by 6, 90 seconds left, starting your own 22. But it's your offense, and it's just, and that's the game. But it could be competitive, and it will be competitive, I think. And I like Tom. I just want to see something that gives us some hope moving forward, and I think you will. Whether they win or lose, who gives a flip? But let's just see something competitive that gives you some hope that it'll be better, perhaps much better next season.
This is the kind of season, I was going to say, Corey, where you wish there was a college football draft, from high school that you're like, well, just keep losing. You get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
No. Or at least a portal draft.
It's 2 bad football teams, so it's not going to be a nice round number. I'm gonna be late to the party on thinking that Florida State's going to score over 20 points. Charleston Southern, the Buccaneers are going to feel the heat, though.
Yeah.
I got North Carolina 22, Florida State 18. Don't ask me how it's going to work out, but when there's
18.
Just bad football teams playing bad football,
that might be a scoregami, Aslan. I don't know that there's ever been a 22-18 score in Florida State history.
Tapping into my inner Chris Berman, the Schwam.
Okay, great.
Having my Schwami there. So there we go. You got all your predictions, everybody. As you know, obviously, games going down Saturday. Check out the pregame show live, 9 a.m., 93.3 FM, as well as, is it on 93.3 FM or is it just on Warchant TV?
Just for us. It's only for you fine people out there on Warchant TV.
Boom. And then meet and greet 1 to 3 o'clock before the game, post-game show 10 to 15 minutes after that.
Don't forget the quarter pocket meet and greet.
Friday. That's going down 5 to 6 o'clock. Check that out.
Warchant wrap. Yep.
Presented by Vitamin Energy. That's dropping after the game as well. There'll be a Monday smash, a 3-2-1 from Irish O'Fell. Corey Clark writing a post-game column. All these things at your disposal when you're a member of warchant.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the website. Hot board season, not far away, kids. It's going to be happening. Thanks, everybody, for their picks, sending them on in. And for Corey Clark and Tom Lang, I'm Aslan Hajavandi. Thanks for watching the Warchant Report, powered by Cummins.